Zando Penguin Audio presents Hungerstone by Dunn. Narrated by Perdita Weeks.
Wouldst thou like to live deliciously? The Witch. Part 1. It is not the dead you should fear. Chapter 1. It starts with blood. In the middle of the night, I wake like a hound scenting the fox and place a hand between my thighs. It comes away sticky and dark. I used to feel grief about it once. Now I am numb. A task my body gives me to dispense with. A rag, the awkward fumble with the safety pins, and the belt that will lie against my skin for 5 days, bringing up rashes around my unused belly and hips. There is an echo of a dream in my mouth, a copper taste on my tongue, and the prickle of the skin of my throat. I cannot recall more. Henry is sleeping in his room. I can hear his soft snoring through the dressing room that forms the connection between our 2 private spaces. I still think softly of him too, though I have come to doubt the strength of his regard for me after so many years. I squat over the chamber pot and arrange my business. The nightdress is not stained, nor are the sheets. Such is my intuition at 30, when as a girl of 16 I ruined so many bedclothes that my Aunt Daphne made me sleep with the belt on for a week, either side of my courses as a precaution. I am mistress of my own house now, and I have sympathy for her penny pinching. If I had a daughter, perhaps I too would begrudge her any accidents, wish her to hasten into adult responsibility. I have no daughter. I have no child at all. Leaving a bloody splatter against the porcelain, I place the lid on the chamber pot and push it beneath the bed. This is no quiet loss. I have not lain with Henry in many months. There was no hope to lose. As my head crests the bed, I see something. So fleeting, just a flicker of movement and the soft creak of weight on the floorboards. I go still. What was it? Where? There, the corner of the room where the darkness seems deeper. I hold myself as quiet as I can, waiting for it to come again. My heart is clenched tight. On the mantel, the clock ticks out the dead seconds. Nothing. There is no movement, no sound of the boards. Fear seeps away and I feel foolish. This house makes noises. Every house I have ever lived in has eased and groaned with the wind and the damp. I will not sleep again. The pain woke with me, so instead I furl myself in the quilt like an oyster in its shell, with no pearl to show for the grit that works through it. Pain and blood, grief and hunger. To be a woman is a horror I can little comprehend. Blood has marked much of my still young life. Bleeding at 12, younger than my mother had expected, an advent into a new age of motherhood she had not anticipated so soon. The absence of blood on my wedding night, Henry searching for it on the sheets in the morning and finding none, pricking my finger on a penknife to smear a bright stain for the servants to find and know he had done his husbandly duty. The blood that came each month after. At first, a disappointment, then a fear, then a grief, then an inevitability. I was good for nothing but blood. It is high summer, and the London house will have no more glory. We will close her up for the summer and retreat to the edge of Derbyshire, and the new estate Henry has acquired, away from the smog of Sheffield proper. With 10 years of migration, I am well used to the ebb and flow of the nomadic season, but there is still much to do. There are clothes to be mended and brushed, silverware and china to be counted and packed, clocks to be wound, dust sheets to be hung across Chesterfield and sideboard. My desk is cleared, menus stacked and correspondence filed. There are no more invitations to be sent, no more seating plans to be decided. This anxious work of mine that has driven me for 10 years, the precise and unassailable positioning of Henry and I both in the upper ranks of society, gives the meaning to my life, makes walls and floors and borders in a borderless, insecure land. But it exhausts me. Once we settle in the country, a new round of social obligations will commence, but until then I am granted a reprieve. For a few weeks, it is enough for me to be only what I am. I rise, aching and sluggish, and add a wrapper over my nightdress. The weather teases summer in bouts of bold sunshine and heat that sours the milk before it arrives from the dairy, then retreats in a flurry of grey skies and a heavy humidity that lies across the city like a fog. Between my curtains there is a slice of white stucco and green bough. Our house is a fine building in the square near Holland Park, which Henry purchased from a drawing shown to him in Sheffield. We are surrounded by artists, about whom Henry is occasionally ungenerous. Molly puts a slug of laudanum in my tea without my asking, and I am glad of it. My body is my enemy, and I will use every weapon in my arsenal against it. I breakfast lightly on kedgeree and strong tea, and remain in my bedroom tending to my correspondence. Molly returns sooner than expected, something in her hand. Miss Lamb has given her calling card. Cora. I should have known. I am out to all visitors today, Molly. I return to my letter writing, but Molly lingers at the door. Yes? She's talking to Mr. Crowther in the hallway. He was coming in when she arrived. Of course she is. Cora knows how to make herself at home anywhere. Though she is more than half a decade younger than I am, it is one of many talents she wears lightly, which come at so high a cost to me. Pretty, accomplished, and reassuringly conventional, the world seems to rotate around her every whim and delight. Sometimes I feel too aware of her friendship granting reflected glory. I do not look up. Let him deal with her. I am occupied. Molly bobs and slips away. I am riled at the intrusion, too much in pain to be generous to those who lay endless demands at my door. On my writing desk is a tin of pastils, and I put 3 into my mouth at once, letting the overwhelming rush of sugar blunt my mind. To business. Henry's secretary has arranged a first-class compartment on the Midland Railway, and our departure from St. Pancras is set for the morrow. I do not know what to think about Nethershore, the moorland estate for which I am now responsible. I have seen but one smudged photograph of its exterior, a long, low stone edifice of medieval and Tudor foundation that, unlike its distant neighbours, Chatsworth and Lyme, has not been wrapped in a Palladian facade. Its arched windows and crenellations give rise to images of monks and knights, an England we have long fled. Its position on the rising bank of hillside, leading to what is called in those parts an edge, here, Hungerstone Edge, flanked by Stanage and Burbage Edge, seems a bleak, alien landscape to me. Until now, we have summered in rented houses in fashionable areas, but Henry is not satisfied. He wants his name on deed and register, on the marriage bands that joined my ancient family to his, and on the contract leasing 4,000 acres of Derbyshire. If I can become a woman in no other way, then I shall make it this. I am an unerring general in the campaign for our social standing. No rule of etiquette is obscure to me, no occasion too difficult to host. I ignore the scatter of calling cards that arrive throughout the morning and think instead of the shirts and petticoats that came back from the laundry with scorch marks, the new gown that the dressmaker has yet to deliver, and my summer hat that on second look seems a little out of style. Is there time to order a new one before we go? Or should I give instruction to a milliner in Sheffield? No, it must be London. The Steel Wives of Sheffield would all have hats from the same establishments in York and Harrogate. I must come with the London fashions of this year, 1888, and not a single thing that speaks of a moment earlier. That is what Henry bought in me. Taste, refinement, high birth, and
Sample complete. Ready to continue?